Hello, it's Nancy with a Scroll in the Garden, and I guess I just want to say that this gardener is slightly depressed today. I used to be depressed a lot in the winter. My daughter actually told me that I had SADD, which actually I don't know exactly what it stands for, but it's lack of sunshine in the winter time. I don't know that she was right or wrong. I do have a tendency to do that, but right now I'm just kind of sad because look at this. Even though as a gardener you know this could happen, especially when spring seems to come early and wonderful and sets right in, and then we get that frost that takes out so much. Look at that. That's enough to make anybody sad. Look at this row of beautiful sedum. Look, it's not so beautiful anymore, but it will come out of it. Today was 80 degrees. Tomorrow's supposed to be 90. So spring is coming. It's not that far away, but it's just so sad to see it do this, where I've been showing you all these beautiful little hostas unfurling and looking gorgeous, and now they look like that. They'll probably have to all be trimmed off. They will come back though. I don't know why I'm all that sad, but I just can't help but feel it. It's certainly not like when you find out something sad about your loved ones, or when something bad happens to them and you can't, it's not so much not the same thing. So I just try to remind myself it's just a plant. It can be replaced if you had enough money to, which sometimes that can be a problem, let's face it. But actually I'm quite sure that all of this will come out, and even if the sedum does get taken out with the next frost, which hopefully it won't, this one right here looks fairly good, but as you can see it just really got nipped. But even if it doesn't come back, it's so easy to reroot in with a piece from a spot where it did make it. So it's just more work more than anything else. It's not a total loss. Also, our beautiful forsythia bushes are gone for the season. They'll leaf out pretty and green and be pretty again. There's our redbud tree. I'm pretty sure it got it too. Definitely got both forsythia bushes, but I think it got my little pink almond. Let me go over this way a little bit farther and zone in on it. You can see it looks way more brownish and like they're fixing to drop off than it did before when I showed it to you. And it could possibly even have gotten our lilac bushes, but maybe not. I'm going to hold out for hope that it didn't. And if it did, you know, other things will be coming on, so it still will be. It's not something I should be all that sad about, but I can't help it when you work on it and when you're out here just envisioning it being something so beautiful, and then things happen that it's not. It is get disheartening, and all the work you put in it, and just look at that snowball bush, all them brown spots on that. I don't know if it'll come out of it or not, but very likely it will, and still put on snowballs, blooms, but we'll just have to wait and see. And although it was 80 degrees out today, the wind was blowing like crazy. It's about to blow this tall little angel here around, and it did blow the one I had over here off, the little Indian angel, and it broke a piece of her, so I'll have to glue that back together before I can put it back out again. It's a beautiful 80 degree day today, except the wind was blowing like crazy. So it really wasn't a day you could just really get out and enjoy it. So that's probably part of this down feeling I had. Plus I just have been sick for quite some time and can't quite get over it. Looky there, the pear is blooming out, the pear tree. So see, that made me feel good. So it's nice to be able to come out and see things that make you happy. But this wind, you can see my little row of birdhouses over here. There we go, over to the green one. It's gone, but it'll get glued back onto, and luckily there wasn't even a bird had not made a nest in it yet, so a little bird didn't lose their family. And I'll put that back up there, and maybe I'll still have one choose to build in that one. Maybe we'll have little wrens. I would love to have bluebirds and wrens, but we'll just have to see how it goes. There is still lots of green, but you can tell it even nipped on the daylilies, and they're as tough as any plant can be, and they will be back too. But that frost got rough on them. Pretty little tulips there. Oh, and you can see right there where my water garden used to be, and it has disappeared from there because he spent the whole day yesterday, which was a beautiful day. The wind was calm, but I spent the whole day redoing it. I actually took everything out of it, and I only really had cattails blooming in it, so I had no idea that they were so clustered together, grown together, and moss grown over until it was just a tragic experience to have to clean that mess out. I had to actually get my husband to help me with it a little bit. He sawed some of it loose from me from the pot so I could get the pot out. But once we got it out and got it going again, I'll show it to you here in a little bit. There's some more damage on the daylilies. They'll come out of it, won't even be able to tell that it was ever a problem. See, my little angel here blew off. I have to glue her back on where she'll sit up there for me. But I think I better just lay her down for right now. I don't want her to fall off and break more than what she already did. But okay, here we're coming up on where I put the water garden, which someday I would love for this whole area that's bare here to be a pond with a little bit of a waterfall over the rock so you can hear the sound of water. And I've always wanted a little arched bridge. It doesn't have to be anything big, just something I can enjoy. And then I only put just a little bit of the cattails back in, so we may not actually have cattails this year, but that's all I had was one to begin with, and it grew out to become all that mess that was in there. Got a new little mermaid to put out here in my water feature, along with my little fishing buoy and my frog. Set this back up. It had fallen off and I hadn't put it back up, and put some long staples. The shorter staples were not holding it down here at the bottom, and so I bought some of the long staples and put in there, and I think that's going to work. I've tried it in different things that have worked for me, so I think that will be good. I really enjoy this little container. I usually put Dichandra Silver Falls in there, or Dichondra, however you say that, and then I usually put a Dusty Miller in there, and then anything you put with Dichandra and Dusty Miller together just works. It just works. The Dusty Miller and the Chandra pulls it all together and makes it beautiful. I was out here earlier today trying to figure out just what I think I want to put in what pot. The tiny little pots. Oh, and that's another thing I did was I found me some more pots for this little swan right here. I haven't got them set up yet. I've just got that stuff sitting in there. But as you can see, after a while, they do dilapidate to the point that you're going to have to replace them. So I'm actually waiting to throw those away because they have some moss seed in there. I may use that to put in this. Moss works really well in these little tiny, or any kind of a succulent that doesn't need very much water, because even if you water them, they're in that tiny little pot, it's just going to zap the water right out. My peonies still look nice, most of them. Some of them got a little laid over a little bit, but for the most part they look good. These little medium size pots here, I can put a little bit more in those. Sometimes impatiens do wonderfully in there because it is under the rain tree. Look at the rain tree. It was all budding out with beautiful color, and now every leaf on there is wilted and looks like it's totally gone. Look at that. Isn't that sad? But it'll be back, and I'll be showing it to you hopefully. And this little rain tree can be a problem child anyway. It's such a mess. Looky there on the ground. See all them little round things? Rain tree seed. Luckily they don't all come up, but a great portion of them do. I have to clean that out. But sometimes I put coleus, and sun coleus is good out here too, because even though it is in the shade, it also gets a lot of sun. I had a Mexican flame vine in this little pot that went up my tomato cage there, and it was really pretty last year. It took it a while. It usually doesn't. Of course, most of the vines don't really show up until in the fall. Like when the kids start to school, they'll be coming up, or they'll be up way before then, but they'll be blooming and giving their showing. So you can tell my little Wilgela. I think I already did a little clip for you earlier to show you what some of it, how it looked. You can see, I can get it to focus in there for you. But it just really got it. I don't know if it will bloom for you now. I was wanting to get to show you that as well as show myself that, because it hasn't really bloomed good since we had some really hot days and no rain for like 3 months at a time. Here's another little of the Wilgela that was just coming out where it would have bloomed for me, and now it looks like this. So most likely there won't be blooms on it, but hopefully there will. This was a little white feather hosta. It comes up with really almost white foliage that it got, as you can see, nipped to. And I already showed you this. That's my beautiful bleeding heart that I do have pictures of it on. If you want to go back to some of the former posts, you can see it, and most of its glory. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if it will come back and bloom again this year or not. But hopefully it'll be back next year, even if not. And this is a meadow rue. I transplanted it back here, which it looks terrible too, but it has a good root system. It will probably do well when it comes back, maybe either from the root or some of the stems may even open back up. This little area right back here is natural the orange daylilies that naturalize, and has it ever naturalized. It's actually taken up my walkway there, it's raising it up. I've got to get those out of there too. I actually don't think I'm going to keep any of them except some that I can put in a pot. I do like them. They are beautiful. We have some all across our church, and when they bloom, they're very pretty, but they're just so hard to take care of because you would just constantly have to be cutting them back, and that is no easy feat. I started to try doing it today and dig some of those out, but they just weren't coming out. I'm going to have to wait until we get a good rain, or till I can get it soaked down good with a soaker hose where I can work with it. I actually put the soaker hose out here, but for no longer than I had to do it. It really didn't do a whole lot to get the ground soft enough to work it up. But anyway, that's where we are, and hopefully, there'll be a prettier day, and when things are greening up and looking gorgeous instead of dying. Another thing, I had several things that I'd brought from inside, brought them outside and put them in these little miniature greenhouses back here that I had to try to get them used to get them acclimatized where I could just leave them outside, and they're not doing. Some of them did not fare well at all either, but others, I don't know if you can see through that, and I'm not going to take it off again tonight, but others did really well. Others are still looking good, but a lot of them did not do well at all. So that's where that is. Hopefully, if they have a good root, they may still come out. It may just be the foliage part, but I don't know. That's just something I'll have to wait and see. This little area right here, I couldn't get anything to grow for some reason, but I finally decided we'll put the things that just do extremely well and even proliferate, like the keys of heaven. These green, like right here, this little bunch right here, that's keys of heaven, and you can see it has taken off and just kind of gone everywhere. Some of this I did transplant little pieces of, but others it just transplanted itself. And then this one right here, and the ones that are similar to it, is actually the tall garden fruits, which are really pretty. So that seems to be working fine there for me. This is just some little succulents in here. Maybe, do I have any cactus? I think they're all just succulents in there. Look at this bud on this peony. I hope it makes it through the next one. We're supposed to have one more. I think that's a little ant. Is it an ant or? I guess it is an ant. I thought it might be a flying insect, but they're good to get on our bud, to get on the peonies. They love that nectar that's coming out of the bud. But there's always something going on in the garden, and today was just not one of my very favorite days in the garden. But there has to be days like that too, because there's so much to do and you get so tired that there's always going to be some days like that. Actually, I think if you're a perfectionist, you really shouldn't try to garden, because it's never really perfect in the garden. Actually, there might be one or two spots or one or two flowers that bloom is absolutely perfect. But as a general rule, all over, there's going to be something need deadheading, need weeding, need divided, needed taken out of there because it's taken over everything else. There's always something going on in the garden, which is lots of times a good thing, sometimes not so good. If it just depends on what it is that's going on, I guess. But so we did get a few pretty blooms that were either bloomed after the frost or were not affected that severely by the frost. And also the cooler days and not being able to get out and work in the garden gave me opportunity to have the time to actually paint, freshen up some paint on some of my garden art. Mostly, well, actually all that I painted this time were my owls.